think you should stick around. This very interesting man is going to show up and it'll be worth your while. I think it was a Thursday night. I said, okay, so I phoned and I canceled my plans for that evening. And he came and right away the man had presence. Again, he carried himself with so much confidence and esteem. Of course, he's classically educated, the finest of everything, etiquette and so forth. And right away we clicked. And he spent the weekend at my friend's place. He gave up his corporate life, his high society life, and he drives an average car. He wears a $4 sweater. He's given up all that because he loves his spiritual knowledge. He said to me he spent about $3 million on spiritual knowledge over his lifetime, paying people seminars, wanting private consultations, and so forth. And he paid quite a bit of money to come into this as well. Paid about $1 million for the information I'm going to share with you today. Okay. So it has value on certain levels. And we sat around, and there was about maybe 10 of us on Friday, and by Sunday, I was the last man standing. So he had, when he would speak, he spoke in a code, okay? And he would often speak mid-sentence. So he wouldn't speak in a perfect paragraph from start to finish. An idea would pop in, and of course, it lost a lot of people. A lot of people were interested in his information and knowledge, because when my friend said, come and stay, cancel your plans and stay, and he showed me a book. And the book was about some of the elite people in the West, bankers, politicians, business people. And he said, the man whose name is on this law firm who represents this people is coming for the weekend. Hi-yo. Pick up the phone, I'm canceling. Yeah, sorry, can't make it. I'll phone you next week. We'll go out next week. So his law firm handled the accounts and the legal issues of these very, very powerful people in the West. So when he showed up, I was very excited. And one person, his name was Dave, thought that LL was full of it. Okay? And he says, I've been sitting here for 2 days listening to you and you're full of shit. And he just got up and left. And then other people, because he was too esoteric, he was too far out there, some crazy talk, people didn't know where he was. And yet for me, it was like, bring it in. I want more. And whenever he spoke, I would understand. Okay, the words didn't matter. I knew what he meant. And then at the end of the weekend, he was getting a ride to the bus station because he had married a Canadian, so he's now living in Canada. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a big wad of cash. And he says, I'm going to slap some money on you now, and I want you to come and visit me. Because at that point in my life, when I was about 27, I was really still down, confused. Why is life so mean? Why am I so frustrated? Okay, why do things work or don't work the way that they do? So he pulled out, he says, I'm going to give you some money. And he gave me about $300 or $500 Canadian. And he says, the wife and I are going to be in Calgary, which is 3 hours south. I want you to get on the bus, and we'll come down and pick you up. And then it was an 11-hour drive to his place, his little paradise. So I was the last one. And it was a wonderful, wonderful thing to be last for the first time in my life, after finishing last many times for those 3 years previous. Last actually got me first, and I hit the jackpot. And I remember whenever we arrived at his house, it was about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. It was about 1 o'clock at night, and I didn't know that there was a lake. I didn't know it was windy and there's deer on the road, and we finally got there. And then when I woke up in the morning, and I came out of the spare bedroom on the main floor, and I turned my head like this, and I saw the view of views. I just about fell over. Okay? So it was a really great experience, and that's when the learning had begun.